on YouTube. So I'm pulling the trigger right now. Hopefully the setup's good. Hey, Rebecca Cardenas, welcome back to You Have a Collect Call From. Today, right now, we're waiting for the hearings in Arizona to start up. Arizona Superior Court. If you can see right there, right behind me. Hopefully, it'll be uneventful today. And by what I mean by that is, the TikTok police be tripping sometimes. They were on me today, so I ended up having to cut my parole board hearings a little bit. I cut them off a little bit early. Let me see. Anderson, thank you. Highly appreciate the likes. Definitely gonna help us, get into the algorithm and possibly get to the FYP, the front page. Let me see. Maribel writes, yeah, we're expecting some snow in Albuquerque, Nuevo Mexico. What the wood? Man, gotta get them chains for the snow. Okay, no. All right, so it should be starting up in about 2 minutes. So they started at once the clock hits 6. That's when the hearings will start. You'll see it just pop up right behind me. Unfortunately, I don't have any control over these hearings. I'm just pretty much at their mercy, just like everybody else. But I started the stream a little bit early just to give you guys a heads up, so you guys don't miss out any of the stream. Because I know sometimes people come in and they start asking what happened, what did I miss, and some people don't want to share. If I know what it is, then I don't mind talking about it. But sometimes I'm so overwhelmed that I'll miss some of the whatever's happening around me. Anyhow, hey, what up, Breezy 444 or Breezy 444? How's it going? Hopefully everybody's doing good today. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow is over the hump day, and that's where my work week starts. This week I'm only working 2 days. I'm working Wednesday and Thursday, and then I'll be off for the rest of the week unless I pick up some more shifts, which, to be quite honest with you, I'm not really too interested in. Let me see. Do you keep glitching, or it's just my end? I don't know. My end looks pretty good. I'm not sure if anybody else is experiencing what Thumper is, but if you guys are, let me know. Normally, when I run these streams, I run them independently from my Wi-Fi. TikTok, let me see, what did she put? TikTok be sensitive. That's why normally I try to catch the YouTube. That's right. Yeah, so right now I'm running it on both. The only thing is that no glitch. Okay, so it just might be you, Thumper. Normally when I do these streams, I'll run it directly from my phone, from the internet on my phone. So it doesn't mess up with my Wi-Fi, because sometimes I'm running too many things at the same time. So hopefully that covers that. And it's 6 o'clock, so they should be popping up right now, unless nobody got arrested in Arizona today and they're not going to be running it, but they have to, right? They should. We're about to find out. It's 6, right? Yeah, 6. Let me make sure. Somebody might be lollygagging it today. All right, so for the meantime, it's just going to be me. That's a lot. A lot of times when I run the streams, normally I just like to run in them right as soon as they start. But sometimes, we'll miss some of the first wordings, or we'll miss some of the some of the names of the perpetrators, if you will. Thumper Road, it's the Desert Empire. We have no service. Hey, and right now it's windy right now, so I could only imagine it might be getting worse. What, man, should I call up the court to find out what the holdup is? Because they really put him in a bad situation right here. I could only talk for so long. Anyways, you know what? Today, later on, about 9 o'clock, I'm going to be going live. I'm expecting a call from Silas, which is located at Centennial State Prison. We're going to be talking about some things. What we're going to be talking about, I don't know. But stay tuned if you're interested in listening to those conversations. This is You Have a Collect Call From, where we deal with pretty much, anything that revolves around prison, incarceration, arrest, parole board hearings, and all that good stuff. It's ugly windy out here in the Blythe, California. You know what? I've been watching the news, and it looks bad. My lady was telling me that that they're expecting the power to go out in a few locations. So my mom lives out in LA, so I try to check up on her earlier on, but no response. So we'll see tomorrow if she picks up my phone calls. It'd be like that sometimes. So I moved around some of my stuff here so I can have a little bit more space because I'm a bit cramped. I got a bunch of stuff all over the place. Let me see. Blue eyes. What time did you say it will start? Normally it starts at 6. It's 6:02. So I'm not sure. Maybe nobody got arrested today in Pima County. I don't know. But yeah, I mean the stream is running all day every day, and then they normally start it up at 6. It's 6:02 now. Well, 6 my time, Pacific time, in Arizona at 7, which is an hour difference. So they're ahead and no, the thing you'll be okay, with Silas. So 9 o'clock. So in 3 hours, we'll be having Silas calling at 9. So it'll be starting up sometimes after 9 o'clock. As long as the weather permits. Sometimes whenever they have weather issues or it's windy out there, it throws off the Wi-Fi. So, I know in the past that's been an issue. Hopefully, it's not going to be an issue tonight. But only one way to find out is by trying it. Man, what's up with Pima County? Let me double check something. Still no word from Jen. You know what? It's been me. I've been lollygagging it. I haven't. I really haven't been reaching out to anybody. Lately. With we just got back from the holidays, and I just been dragging my feet. But I'll go ahead and reach out to her one of these days. It's just sometimes doing all these calls and stuff. It gets a bit overwhelming sometimes. There's only enough hours in the day for me to do this, so. It just seems like any free time that I got on my hands, I'm normally either streaming these parole board hearings, on these calls from prison or something revolving prison. Kind of funny that I was just thinking about, like, man, I've never been to prison, and this just seems like I just consume so much prison. I'm like, man, I need a break. Yeah, so I'm double checking my notes here. Yeah, it should be starting up at 6, but I guess maybe it's not going to happen today. I guess we'll hang out for a few more minutes to see if it goes through, and my daughter's coming. ¿Qué pasó, mama? Huh? You're sensitive. Why she do that? I gotta move my setup here for a quick minute. Véngase, mom. My daughter just came to join me right now. She's having a moment right now. Oh, there it is. It's ready. All right.
All right, so we're seeing you this evening on some new misdemeanor charges out of Tucson City Court. It looks like you currently are being held on some felony charges. So whatever we do in this case isn't going to affect what happens in your other case. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do your arraignment. We're going to talk about your release conditions and your next court date. All right?
All right.
All right, so sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. However, I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you in this case. You do have the right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to show for court, then a warrant can issue for your arrest, and those proceedings can happen without you. Now, you do have the right to have a trial and to have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't need to do anything. However, if you'd like to call witnesses on your own behalf, you can use the court's subpoena power to get those folks to court for you. Now, finally, if you are convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing, and sentencing can't happen within 90 days as a result, then you will lose your right to a direct appeal. So, sir, what I am going to do is I'm going to give you a court date. It's going to be a non-transport review hearing on February 28th, 2025. That will be at 9 o'clock. And I believe that that's going to be covered by Judge Close. So in this case, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf. And then your only other conditions is that you are not to return to the incident location if you are released. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, that's all for tonight. You're excused.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Told you guys. I guess they're on the late train today. Somebody's lollygagging it, if you will. Messing me up over here. It's no bueno. Can you guys see good from here, from this angle, or should I try to rearrange it a little bit more? You guys tell me. Oh, that's where I live. What is Miranda?
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Henry Peralta.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening on some new misdemeanor charges out of Tucson City Court. It does look like you're being held on a separate felony matter, so whatever we do tonight for this case isn't going to affect what's happening in your other case. Do you understand? All right, sir. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about your next court dates, and we're going to do your arraignment here this evening. So, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. However, I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you in this case. You do have a right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, those hearings can happen without you, and a warrant will issue for your arrest. Now, you do have the right to have a trial and to have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't need to do anything. However, if you'd like to call witnesses on your own behalf, you can use the court's subpoena power to get those folks to come to court for you. Now, if you are convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing in 90 days since conviction have passed, you will lose your right to a direct appeal. I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf for the charge here. It looks like it's a criminal trespass in the second degree. I'm going to give you two different court dates. One is going to be a video review hearing in case you're still in custody, and that will be January the 17th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon with Judge Hale over at City Court. You'll get paperwork with all of this information. Now, if you are out of custody, then you need to get to City Court on February 7th at 9:30 in the morning, again with Judge Hale. Do you understand?
Can you zoom in on your screen?
All right, I'm going to hold you on a $250 cash bond. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any of the listed victims, and you're not to return to the incident location. And as I mentioned before, the City Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, and the paperwork you get will have their contact phone number. Do you understand, sir?
So I got another bond on top of the one I have here?
Yes, sir. All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
All right.
That's it, man. Hey, do you think I could grow that? No, I can't grow my hair like that. I'm blind ass. You know what? If I get any closer, it's gonna mess up being able to see the both screens. So that's why I'm not like super close. And I can make the room darker so you can see the screens a little bit better. But I'm trying to avoid, getting caught up with TikTok because they've been tripping. So I'm hoping like this is able to, get around whatever thing they got going on. That guy looked funny. Christina, I think it's Christina. I can't see all the way over there. You know what? Let me bring up the chat over here on this screen. Oops. Let me see here. Oh, let's see this guy right here.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Royce Tawny.
All right, sir. We're seeing you this evening on a case out of Tucson City Court involving some misdemeanor charges. It looks like it's a case where a warrant was issued for your arrest back in early January.
We love the stream. Yeah. Thank you, HD.
So, sir, the charges involved in this case are possession of drug paraphernalia, misdemeanor assault, and also theft or shoplifting. And it looks like there may be some new failure to appear charges.
Did somebody say
Target? What we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about your release conditions, your next court date, and we're going to go ahead and take care of your arraignment. So, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. However, I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. Now, you do have the right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to show in court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can happen without you. Now, you do have the right to have a trial and have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't need to do anything. However, if you'd like to call witnesses on your own behalf, you can use the court's subpoena power to get those folks to court for you.
Damn, that dude looks
If
a
you
little
are
bit rough.
convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing and 90 days have gone by since the time of conviction, you also will lose your right to a direct appeal. So I'm going to hold you on a $250 cash bond. As conditions of your release, sir, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any listed victims, their residences, or their workplaces. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf for any charges where that has not already happened. And your next court date is going to be with Judge Mayhew at Tucson City Court. I'm going to give you
City
two.
Court.
So if you are in
It's
custody,
gold.
you are going to have a video review hearing on January the 17th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you are out of custody, then you need to be at City Court on February the 7th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And if you don't make it, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
All right, hey. So, who do you guys think the next person that's coming up? Where do you guys? What kind of charges do you think this person is gonna have? Go ahead and start lighting up the chat, if you will. Also, where you guys tuning in from? If you guys don't mind sharing with us over here, and also, hey, let's get these numbers up. The only way we're gonna be able to do that is by hitting them hearts, hitting those corazones. They're free 99, and also remember, sharing is caring. If you know somebody, shoot it over. Also subscribe. It's free 99. And Sad is coming in from Arizona. Justin's coming in from PA. Firearm discharge from Julian. The 661 from 123. We got Esmeralda from
Defense,
Tucson.
would you like me to waive
Chino,
reading on this next one?
Maryland 37. Pomona, Aruba. What the wood? We're not in Kansas anymore. We're watching from Kansas. What the wood?
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Maricopa.
Tamayo.
What's your first name?
Bárbaro.
¿Qué?
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening on a warrant that was issued in a felony case, and it looks like that.
He
Go
needs a
ahead.
translator. Yo hablo.
Yeah, he needs a Spanish interpreter, Your Honor.
Understood. Do we have an
Illinois, that's
interpreter on
right.
the line?
Starlight, what's up?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll go ahead and start over real quick, sir. So, sir, can I get your full name?
Señor, ¿me puede dar su nombre, por favor? Su nombre completo.
Bárbaro Córdoba Tamayo.
Domestic
Bárbaro
violence.
Córdoba Tamayo.
He's here for domestic
All right,
violence.
sir, we're seeing you this
Or
evening
drinking.
on a warrant that was issued in a recent felony case.
Felony. What the what?
Bien, señor, lo estamos viendo esta noche por una orden de arresto que se acaba de emitir por un caso reciente.
And that warrant looks like it was issued back on January 3rd of this year.
Y esa orden de arresto parece que se emitió el 3 de enero de este año.
Oh, this.
So, sir, we're going to talk about your release conditions and your next court date.
Así que, señor, vamos a hablar acerca de sus condiciones de libertad y su próxima audiencia en una corte.
Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Have a
Tiene el
good night.
derecho a guardar silencio. Cualquier cosa que usted diga se puede y se usará en su contra.
You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm
Cha,
going
cha.
to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
También tiene derecho a tener a un abogado y voy a nombrar a la oficina del defensor público para que lo represente.
You also have counsel from the Public Defender's Office next to you, and they can help you with tonight's hearing if you have any questions.
También tiene un abogado esta noche para la audiencia el día de hoy para representarlo hoy. Esta persona que está sentada enseguida de usted y ella le puede ayudar con cualquier pregunta que tenga hoy.
Now, I have read the pretrial services report, the interim complaint, and the county attorney's office's recommendation.
He leído el informe de la agencia de previos al juicio, la queja interina y el reporte de la fiscalía.
It looks like the state is asking for a $2,500 bond, which is the amount listed in the warrant.
What do you do?
Parece
Did
ser
anybody
que la
catch what he
fiscalía
did?
está solicitando una fianza de $2,500, que es la cantidad que se puso en la orden de arresto.
Counsel for the state, did you have anything you wanted to add to your recommendation?
Le preguntan al abogado fiscal si tiene algo más que quiera agregar con respecto a su recomendación.
Thank you, Chris.
No additional information to add than what's already there, Judge.
El abogado indica no tiene más información que agregar que la que ya está escrita, su señoría.
All right, counsel for defense, did you wish to be heard?
Muy bien, le preguntan al abogado de la defensa si quiere decir algo.
No?
Your Honor, we would just ask for a nominal bond of $100 for time credit.
A su señoría estamos pidiendo una fianza nominal de $100 por el plazo de tiempo cumplido.
Mr. Tamayo is being held on a $2,500 bond in another case, and it also has a probation hold. So given that, we would just ask for a nominal bond.
El señor Tamayo tiene otra fianza puesta en otro caso de $2,500 y también tiene una orden de retención a causa de libertad a prueba, así que esa es la razón por la cual pedimos una fianza más reducida.
All right, sir, I'm going to order that you be held on a $2,500 cash or secured bond.
Muy bien, señor, voy a ordenar que se quede detenidos bajo una fianza de $2,500 en efectivo.
If you are released, you will be supervised by pretrial
559, thank you
services and
for
you
the
will need
follow.
to comply with any directions they give you.
Si usted lo dejan salir en libertad, usted va a estar bajo la supervisión de la agencia previos al juicio y debe cumplir con cualquier orden que ellos le den.
You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs.
No puede poseer ni consumir ninguna bebida alcohólica o drogas ilícitas.
You are also not to possess any firearms or weapons.
Tampoco no puede poseer ninguna arma de fuego o tipos de armas.
And in the event that you are released from custody, there's going to be information in your paperwork of the address and phone number for the sheriff's department.
En caso de que lo dejen salir en la libertad, le van a dar información por escrito en un documento con respecto a la dirección y el número de teléfono de la agencia
Thank you for
del
sharing the
Departamento
live.
de Sheriffes.
And you will need to report to that entity within 2 days or 2 working days from your release of custody.
En cuanto lo dejen salir en libertad, en los próximos 2 días de que lo dejen salir de libertad, tiene que reportarse ahí con la agencia de Sheriffes.
Your next court date? Oh, go ahead, sir.
Continúe, señor.
¿Cómo?
He just said okay.
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 All right, sir. So
Thank you.
your next court date is going to be January the 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Su próxima corte va a ser el 14 de enero a la 1:30 de la tarde.
And that will be an arraignment hearing at Superior Court.
Va a ser una lectura de cargos en el Tribunal Superior.
He looks happy.
If you are out of custody, you need to make sure you make that court date. If you don't, a warrant will issue.
Si está fuera
this
de
live stream?
custodia,
Yes, it
tiene
is.
que asegurarse de ir a esa audiencia en la corte, si no, se puede emitir una orden por su arresto.
Do you understand, sir?
Sí.
¿Entiendes, señor? Yes.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
All right, so anybody
Muy
that's
bien,
wondering,
señor, eso es todo por esta noche, ya se puede retirar.
this is live stream. This is Pima County, Arizona, Superior Court, I believe. This is streamed. This is happening in real time right now. I didn't catch what that case was about, but on the next person, get your guesses ready right now. What the next person is going to be being charged with? You know what? Is it going to be DUI, theft? Oh, rale.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Donovan Carrillo.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening on some new felony charges
Oh,
relating to
felony.
allegations of you committing burglary in the 3rd degree.
Burglary.
Now, sir, we're going to talk about your release conditions and your next court date. So, sir, you do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. You have counsel seated beside you in case you need any assistance with tonight's hearing.
What do you guys think he
Now, I've read the
burglarized?
pretrial services workup, the state's
Target?
recommendation, as well as the interim complaint. I see that the state is asking for a $5,000 bond with pretrial services in lieu of asking for a no bond hold. Did the state wish to be heard any further?
No comment.
Mr. Goodman, if you're speaking, I think you might be muted.
He is. He's really muted. But don't worry, I'll speak up for him. Just let the defendant go. He looks very trustworthy.
Hello, can you hear me, Judge?
We can now.
Hear you now.
Yeah, these
Liquor
computers
store.
they gave us that are supposed to be new always have mic issues, but the state realizes he was sentenced to Department of Corrections, I believe, yesterday to 3.5 years.
Ooh.
He technically committed this offense when looking at the date of offense while on felony release. So given his DOC status and the fact it was technically committed on release, we don't feel a no bond's appropriate, but a bond is definitely necessary to ensure his appearance. So it would prevent any unnecessary, spoliation of resources to just rid him back for a hearing. So that way he can stay here locally to address this matter.
Can you please use spoliation in a sentence, please?
Defense counsel, did you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, I would ask this for a nominal bond so that he does stay at the jail and can resolve this case. As the state said, he was sentenced to prison today for 3.5 years, so he will not be getting out. We would just ask for a nominal bond so he does stay at the jail and can resolve this case.
All right, sir, I'm going to hold you on a $1,500 cash or secured bond. If you post that bond and if you are released from custody for some reason, you will be supervised by pretrial services, and you'll have to comply with any directives they give you in terms of monitoring or treatment. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. You're not to have any contact with the listed victim, and you're not to return to the incident location. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on January the 17th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, if for some reason, I know you've got the DOC hold, but if for some reason you are released from custody, you need to make sure you make that hearing or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
All right. So you guys haven't done so, please do so. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us get into that 20,000 mark. We should be hitting 14,000, which is 6,000 short from our target. Anyhow, these are live. These are from Pima County, which is, I believe, in Tucson. But you guys from Arizona could confirm for me. I'm not sure. I'm not from Tucson, so no sé. All right. Where's everybody tuning in from? And where do you guys, the next person that comes in, when they walk up, let us know what you guys think. Tucson, correct? Hey, thank you, Sadex.
Judge, do you want the two Spanish speakers first, or do you want me to just go in order?
If you're able to bring the Spanish speakers up, that would be great, and we can go ahead and get the interpreter.
Pomona, California, Junior, California, SF, San Francisco. I'm from Canada. What?
Your Honor, also could I,
South
if I can
Carolina,
make a quick
Paso,
comment? I'm here for
Texas.
Jackson Williams.
Cha-Cha coming in from Los Angeles.
In line or
5K.
not, but if we could also
That
get
ain't
that matter
nothing. North
handled,
Dakota,
that'd be
Nevada.
terrific.
That's right.
All right. So we'll see. Let's start with the Spanish speakers, and then if the jail is able to bring, you said it's Jackson Williams.
Riverside, Los
Yes, Your Honor.
Angeles, 213.
Jail, if you're able to bring up Jackson Williams after the speakers.
Oh, there it is. Si hablo español, Bakersfield.
All right, sir, can I get your name, please?
José
Señor, ¿me
Trujillo.
puede dar su nombre, por favor? José Trujillo.
All right. What do you guys think Jose did? You better use them Twitter fingers before the judge starts reading up them charges.
And we'll be reading up the charges, Your Honor.
Bell Gardens, San
Thank you,
Bernardino,
counsel.
DUI, Junior.
All right, sir. So we're seeing you on some new felony charges.
Muy
Domestic
bien, señor.
violence,
Estamos viendo por nuevos cargos por felonías.
Now, sir,
felonies,
you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say
domestic
can and will
violence,
be used
kidnapping,
against you.
chingators.
Usted tiene derecho a guardar silencio. Todo lo que usted diga se usará en su contra.
You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense.
También tiene derecho a tener un abogado, pero no necesariamente a costo de la corte.
DUI.
And the reason I bring that up is because it looks like you also have a matter in Pima County Consolidated Justice Court.
Y la razón por la cual menciono esto es porque también parece ser que tiene otro caso, otro asunto en el Pima County Justice Consolidated Court.
And we'll get to that misdemeanor case once we deal with the felony.
Felonía.
Y vamos a hablar de ese caso de delito menor tan pronto terminemos de hablar de las felonías.
Now, in this matter, sir, I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
En este caso, señor, voy a nombrar a la oficina del defensor público para que lo represente.
I've read the pretrial services workup as well as the state's recommendation.
Ya leí la información que realizó la oficina de libertad antes de juicio y también la recomendación de la fiscalía.
I see that the state is requesting a $200,000 bond, and it looks like that was the amount listed in the warrant.
$200,000? Cheating gators.
Veo que la fiscalía está solicitando una fianza de $200,000 y esa es la cantidad que está escrita cuando se emitió la orden de arresto.
Damn, what
Does
does
the
fool
state
do?
have anything it wishes to add to the recommendation?
Le preguntan a la fiscalía si hay algo más que quiere agregar con respecto a esta recomendación.
Are you able to hear me okay, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Si lo podemos escuchar, dijo que sí.
Okay.
The only thing I would add in addition to the nature of the offense is how long that warrant's been out there. He doesn't appear to have ties. He's declined the interview with pretrial services and does not appear to be a legal resident of the United States and has ties to Mexico.
Lo único que quiero agregar, además de la naturaleza de este delito, es que por cuánto tiempo estuvo esta orden de arresto. Parece que no tiene lazos en esta comunidad. Él se rechazó a realizar una entrevista con la agencia previos al juicio. Parece que no es un residente legal de los Estados Unidos y sí de México.
Is your husband immigration or ICE?
Counsel for defense, did you wish to be heard?
Le pregunta al abogado defensor si quiere decir algo.
Yes, Your Honor, would ask you release Mr. Trujillo to pretrial services, alternatively impose a significantly lower bond?
Sí, estoy solicitando a su señoría que lo deje bajo libertad, bajo la agencia previos al juicio, o también que ponga una fianza mínima.
He has no prior felony arrest of any kind?
No tiene ningún arresto por felonía de ningún tipo.
He's a 1 on the NCA scale, a 2 on the FTA scale, and it appears he has no prior convictions of any kind of misdemeanor or felony.
También dice aquí que tiene una en la escala de NSA, tiene una calificación de 1, en la escala de FTA, una escala de número 2, y no tiene ninguna condena previa por delito menor o felonías.
The charges in this case range from 2010 to 2014, and he's had no law enforcement contact since 2017 when the warrant issued, and he's not been previously arrested on the warrant.
Dice que los cargos que él está enfrentando tienen de un plazo desde el 2010 al 2014, no ha tenido otros cargos. And I'm sorry, can you please repeat what you said on the 2017 regarding the warrant? What did you say?
He has not had law enforcement contact since 2017, and he has not been previously arrested on the warrant.
Thank you.
Pima
que no ha tenido
County.
ningún tipo de contacto con la agencia policial o la policía desde el 2007 y no ha tenido ningún arresto.
Given that, Your Honor, we would ask that you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release, alternatively impose a significantly lower bond.
Dado a estas razones, su señoría, solicitamos que lo deje en libertad bajo la agencia previos al juicio y si no, entonces que le dé una fianza mínima.
All right, sir, I am going to order that you be held on the $200,000 cash or secured bond.
200.
Muy
You know what I
bien,
could do
señor,
with
voy a
200?
ordenar que se quede detenido bajo la fianza de $200,000 en efectivo o garantizada.
If you post that bond, you will be supervised by pretrial services and you will need to comply with any directions they give you.
Si usted paga esa fianza, va a estar bajo la supervisión de la agencia previos al juicio y tiene que cumplir con cualquier dirección que él les dé.
You are not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs,
haven't
and you are
said.
to possess no firearms or weapons.
No debe de poseer ninguna, ni de consumir ninguna bebida alcohólica, ni drogas ilícitas, ni de poseer ningún tipo de arma de fuego o armas.
You are also not to have any contact with the listed victims.
Victims.
Tampoco no debe tener ningún tipo de contacto con las víctimas que han sido listadas.
You're not to have any contact with their residences or workplaces.
No puede tener ningún tipo de contacto con la residencia de esas personas o el lugar de trabajo de esas personas.
No
And you are
sé.
not to have any contact with minors.
Minors.
Y no puede tener ningún tipo de contacto con menores de edad.
What?
Your next court date, sir, will be an arraignment hearing on January the 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
It must be something up.
Su próxima corte, su señor, va a ser una lectura de cargos el 14 de enero de a la 1:30 de la tarde.
Now, looking at your misdemeanor case, let me just pull up that file real quick.
I might have to look.
Ahora,
I might have to
viendo
do some
su
digging
caso de
around.
delito menor, déjeme sacar su expediente un momentito.
It's weird that they're not saying the charges. I find that
In that
interesting.
case,
Like my
sir,
wife will
I
say,
am
that's
going to
interesting.
appoint Anna Dennis to represent you.
En ese caso, señor, voy a
Looking at the
nombrar a
local news.
Ana Dennis para que lo represente a usted.
Actually, never disregard that. I'm going to appoint Sal Huerta to represent you.
Ignore esto, voy a nombrar a Saúl Huerta para que lo represente a usted.
And sir, the reason I'm appointing Mr. Huerta is that he is a Spanish speaker, so it'll be easier for you two to talk about the case.
Y señor, la razón por qué estoy nombrando al señor Huerta para que lo represente a usted y va a ser más fácil para usted hablar sobre su caso.
I'm going to order that you be held on a $250 cash bond.
$250? What do you do? Jaywalk?
I'm sorry, 250, Your Honor.
Correct.
Voy a ordenar que se quede detenido por una fianza de $250,000.
If you are released from custody, you are not to drive without a valid license.
Si a usted lo dejan salir en libertad, no puede conducir si no tiene una licencia válida para conducir.
He probably got the
And your
driving
next
without
court
license.
date will be tomorrow, January the 8th at 1 p.m.
Y su próxima corte va a ser mañana, el
It's
8
two
de
different
enero a la
cases.
1 de la tarde.
And the jail will take care of making sure that you make it to that hearing.
Y el personal de la cárcel se va a asegurar de que usted esté presente en esa audiencia.
Now, sir, in both of these cases, if you are released from custody, you need to make sure you make your court dates or a warrant will issue for your arrest.
Señor, en ambos casos, si usted sale en libertad, tiene que asegurarse de presentarse en la corte o si no, se pueden emitir otras órdenes por su arresto.
Do you understand, sir?
¿Entiende esto, señor?
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes.
That's all for this evening.
All right, so there was two different cases. The first
Muy
case
bien,
was a
señor,
felony
gracias. Eso
case.
es todo por esta noche.
The second one was misdemeanor. So the first one was $250,000. The second one, which was the misdemeanor, was $250. So I think anybody could cover the $250 one. The $250,000, good luck, because we're staying in there, my amigo. I don't know what you did, but I think this is the first time I heard that judge give that type of bailout. Other bails have been like what, like 10, 15, 20,000. He definitely in for something with, yeah, that you know what, I caught that when she said that he's not supposed to have any contact with minors. That was definitely fishy right there. But I can't put that jacket on him yet because we don't have any we don't have anything. It's pure speculation right now. But that's weird. Anyhow, hey, I see there's 84 people in here. If you guys could go ahead and get our hearts up to 20,000 hearts. It's free. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And, hopefully you guys could get us to the FYP. We could get some more people in here, get more engagement going. Can you find out? I don't even know I didn't even catch the dude's name. We probably can. His case is probably listed on the website for that court, which is Pima County. I got my hands tied right now.
Yo supuestamente hijo me había puesto un abogado, pero no se comunicó que.
Jose Trio. Let me see. Trujillo, I mean. Let me grab one of my trusty phones over here. Let me see if my Twitter fingers are any bueno. Hey, thank you, Starlight, for that. I got ADD over here, so I can't focus on one thing only. Hey, but if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit the subscribe button. It's free 99. Also, share it. Share it with somebody, anybody. Just send it to them. All right, next up. Oh, I don't know. Glasses. What do you guys think this guy did?
¿Y su nombre?
Abraham
¿Y su apellido?
Hernández.
Judge Clay Hernandez there for Mr. Fernandez.
Yes.
And Your Honor, Nanette Morrow here for the state.
All right.
Y necesita un traductor también, ¿sí? Okay, yeah. There's,
DWI,
and he's
talk.
also a Spanish speaker.
I'm going to look
All right,
up Pima
sir, can
County
I get
Jail.
your name?
Bueno, bien, señor, ¿me puede dar su nombre, por favor?
Abraham Antonio Hernández Fernández.
Abraham Antonio Hernández Fernández.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening on some new felony charges.
Muy bien, señor, lo estamos viendo esta noche por unos nuevos cargos de felonías.
And it looks like an arrest warrant was issued for these charges back in September of 2024.
What charges?
Y parece que se emitió una orden de arresto por estos cargos en septiembre de 2024.
And based on the information I have, it looks like these charges involve allegations of money laundering in the second degree, use of a wire communication in a drug-related transaction.
Parece ser, basado en la información que yo tengo aquí, estos cargos tienen que ver con blanqueo de dinero en segundo grado por el uso de comunicación alámbrica para una transacción de drogas.
Transportation or importation for sale of a drug.
Transportación o importación para venta de drogas.
Conspiracy and illegally conducting an enterprise.
Conspiración y llevando a cabo un negocio ilícito.
So, sir, what we're going to do this evening is we're going to talk about your release conditions and your next court dates.
Entonces, señor, lo que vamos a hacer esta noche, vamos a hablar con respecto a sus condiciones de libertad y sus próximas audiencias en la corte.
Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Señor, tiene el derecho a guardar silencio. Todo lo que usted diga se puede y se usará en su contra.
You also have the right to an attorney, and it looks like Clay Hernandez is currently representing you.
También tiene el derecho a tener un abogado y parece ser que el abogado Clay Hernández es el abogado que lo está aquí representando.
Now, I've read the pretrial services report as well as the recommendation provided by the Attorney General's office.
Ya leí el informe de la agencia previas al juicio y también la recomendación que recomienda la Fiscalía General.
I note that it looks like the Attorney General is recommending pretrial services. Is that still the case, Ms. Morrow, or was there anything you wanted to add?
Me doy cuenta que el fiscal general está recomendando que lo dejen salir bajo la supervisión de la agencia previas al juicio. La juez le pregunta al asistente del fiscal general, la señorita Morrow, si todavía continúa con esa misma recomendación.
So I have nothing further to add, Your Honor.
La abogada dice que sí, que eso es correcto y que no tiene nada más que agregar.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Clay Hernandez, my inclination is to follow the state's recommendation. Did you wish to be heard at all?
Muy bien, la juez le dice, one moment please. Thank you. La juez dijo, gracias por esta información. Ahora le pregunta al señor Clay, al abogado Clay Hernández, si le está indicando que lo que ella está considerando hacer es seguir la información, la recomendación del fiscal general, y le pregunta a su abogado Clay Hernández si hay algo más que quiera agregar.
My apologies to the interpreter, Judge. We appreciate the recommendations from the state. We don't have anything to add, and we'd ask the court to follow that recommendation.
Muy bien, su abogado se disculpa con la intérprete y aprecia la recomendación del fiscal general y le sugiere al juez que siga esa recomendación y ellos también solicitan la misma recomendación.
All All right, sir, I am going to order that you be released to the supervision of pretrial services.
Muy bien, señor, voy a ordenar que lo dejen salir en libertad bajo la agencia de supervisión previas al juicio.
You will need to comply with any directions they give you in terms of monitoring or treatment.
Tiene que cumplir con cualquier orden que ellos le den con respecto a monitoreo o tratamiento.
You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs.
No puede poseer ni consumir ninguna bebida alcohólica o drogas ilícitas.
And you are to possess no firearms or weapons.
Y no puede poseer ningún tipo de arma de fuego o arma.
Your next court date will be an arraignment hearing on January the 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon at Superior Court.
Su próxima audiencia en la corte va a ser una lectura de cargos el 14 de enero a la 1:30 de la tarde en el Tribunal Superior.
Now, sir, you need to make sure you make that court date because if you don't appear in court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Señor, tiene que asegurarse de asistir a esa audiencia en la corte porque si no lo hace, se puede emitir una orden por su arresto. ¿Entiende usted esto?
Sí, que entiendo. 14 de enero,
Yes,
1:30 de la tarde.
Yes, I understand. The 14th of January at 1:30 p.m.
That's correct, sir. So that's all for this evening, sir. You are excused, and thank you, both counsel, for calling in.
All right, so I'm looking.
Thank
I'm
you.
trying to
Eso
look
es
up this
correcto,
case
señor.
for this Jose right now.
Eso es correcto, señor. Eso es todo por esta noche. Ya se puede retirar y la juez le agradece a los dos abogados por haberse conectado en la línea.
I still haven't found nothing, but I'm looking. I'm trying to dig high and low. Trying to use these Twitter fingers here. No case information. Oh, well. On to the next. Anyhow, let me see. What are
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jose's?
This is a
I'm trying to find right
Spanish-speaking
now.
interpreter. Can this interpreter be excused?
No, we have one more.
Oh,
One more?
Go out. Jorge Roberto Enrique Docentes.
What was the name again?
Enriquez Osejo. Hay un traductor. Hay un traductor también. Necesita. Sí.
So, Madam Interpreter, it looks like we do have the one more case, but I believe that is likely it.
Okay, Your Honor.
Right.
And Your Honor, we have the charges.
Understood. So, sir, can I get your full name, please?
Señor, ¿me puede decir su nombre completo, por favor?
Jorge Roberto Enríquez Osejo.
Jorge Roberto Enríquez Osejo.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening on a felony case where a warrant was issued in December of this year, or last year.
Señor, lo estamos viendo esta noche por una felonía, por una orden de arresto que se emitió en diciembre de este año, perdón, del año pasado.
Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can and will be used against you.
Señor, usted tiene el derecho a guardar silencio. Todo lo que usted diga se puede usar en su contra.
You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
También tiene derecho a tener un abogado. Estoy nombrando la oficina del defensor público para que lo represente.
And you have counsel seated beside you if you need any assistance during this evening's hearing.
Durante esta audiencia esta noche tiene un abogado ahí sentado enseguida de usted que está para ayudarlo si lo necesita.
Now, sir, we're going to talk about your next court date and your release conditions.
Señor, vamos a hablar acerca de su próxima audiencia en la corte y sus condiciones de libertad.
You know me.
I have read the pretrial services workup and the state's recommendation.
He leído la información de la agencia de supervisión previos al juicio y la recomendación de la fiscalía.
The state is recommending pretrial services release, and based on the information I have, I am inclined to follow that recommendation. Did either attorney
This is
wish
live,
to
yes.
be heard?
La fiscalía está recomendando que lo dejemos salir en libertad bajo la supervisión de la agencia previos al juicio y basado en esa información mi inclinación es cumplir con esa recomendación. Le pregunta si alguno de los abogados tienen algo más que decir.
Your Honor, I would just add, I don't believe a no contact order is necessary based on what I'm reading in the file. I believe the offense likely involved
This
his
is court.
children, if I'm not
Court age,
mistaken. We're okay with release based on the history and the refile status. Just that he not. The state's only requesting he not drive without a valid license and no consumption of alcohol or illegal substances as far as conditions go.
Okay, one moment, please. Su señoría, no tenemos mucho más que agregar, pero también consideramos que no es necesario que se emita una orden de que no puede tener contactos, basando la información que estoy leyendo con respecto a su expediente y con respecto a este delito. Parece ser, si es que no me equivoco, es que esto tiene que ver con sus hijos, entonces estamos de acuerdo que lo dejen de salir en libertad y que se ordene que no tenga ningún tipo. I'm sorry. And you're saying that the only thing that you want is that he doesn't drive with the... Can you repeat the last part you said for me, for the interpreter?
The state is only requesting that he not drive without a valid license and no consuming alcohol or illegal drugs as conditions of his release on pretrial services.
Thank you. La fiscalía está solicitando entonces que usted no maneje si no tiene una licencia válida para conducir, que no tome ni consume ningún tipo de bebidas alcohólicas o drogas ilícitas y que cumpla con los requisitos de la...
Man, they gotta fix their
Counsel, did you
mics.
wish to be heard?
We have nothing to add.
Le preguntan al abogado de la defensa si tiene algo más que quiera decir y el abogado defensor indicó que no tiene nada más que agregar, su señoría.
All right, sir, I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services.
Muy bien, señor, lo va a dejar en libertad bajo la supervisión de la agencia previa al juicio.
You will need to comply with any directions they give you in terms of monitoring or treatment.
Tiene que cumplir con cualquier orden que ellos le den con respecto al monitoreo o tratamiento.
You are not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs and possess no firearms or weapons.
No puede poseer ningún o consumir ningún tipo de bebida alcohólica, drogas ilícitas o armas de fuego.
You are also not to drive without a valid license.
Tampoco no puede conducir sin una licencia válida de conducir.
Your next court date is going to be an arraignment hearing at Pima County Superior Court on January the 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Su próxima audiencia en la corte va a ser para una lectura de cargos en el Tribunal Superior del Condado de Pima el 14 de enero a la 1:30 de la tarde.
Now, sir, you need to make sure you make it to that hearing because if you don't appear in court, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Señor, tiene que asegurarse de presentarse en esa audiencia porque usted no se presenta en esa audiencia, se va a emitir una orden por su arresto. ¿Entiende usted esto?
Sí, sí entiendo. El 14
Yes,
de
I
enero a la 1:30, ¿no?
Yes, I do understand. The 14th of January at 1:30, correct?
Correct.
Yup.
Correcto, señor.
All right, sir, that's all for... Oh, go ahead.
Continúe, señor.
That's all she
I don't
knows.
think he said anything else. We have the background noise.
No worries. I know it's a little bit difficult when we have everybody virtually.
Ok, nos damos cuenta que no tiene nada más que decir, no dijo nada, no se preocupen, dice la juez, que es difícil cuando todos comparecemos virtualmente.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Muy bien, señores, ya es todo por esta noche, ya se puede retirar.
All right. So I'm guessing that's, well, I mean, no, originally when we jumped on, they said that they wanted to get all the Spanish speakers, out the way. So I know they just did 3 Spanish speakers. So hopefully they got some other cases pending. I mean, sucks for the people that are going through this right now, but crime doesn't pay, right? That's why I don't commit any crimes. Hey, Starlight, highly appreciate the like. I think Maria just gave me some likes. Dorothy, highly appreciate the likes. Starlights, appreciate the likes. Hey, man, that's what's up. You guys got us over 20,000 likes, if you will. All right. Oh, so now we got the English speakers. What this dude do?
Love, sir,
Let's see
can
what
I
it
get
is.
your full name, please?
Michael V. Couch.
All right, sir. So we are seeing you this evening on, it looks like, a misdemeanor case out of Pima County Justice Court. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not
Target.
necessarily at court expense. Based on what the information I have, it looks like you currently have a probation hold. Does that sound right?
Oh, he ain't going nowhere.
All right, sir. So whatever we do in this new case and this misdemeanor case is not going to affect your release conditions in that other matter. Now, sir, in this case, based on the nature of the charges, it looks like it's a moving traffic violation.
Moving
My
traffic
inclination
violation?
is to release you on your promise to appear. I'm going to give you a court date of February the 6th, 2025, and that will be at 8:30 in the morning over at Pima County Justice Court. That will be an arraignment hearing with Judge Garza. Now, as conditions of your release, you are not to drive without a valid license. Now, if you are in custody, then the jail will go ahead and take care of you getting to that court hearing. But if you're out of custody, you need to make sure you make that court date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand? All right, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Hey, they don't play. I never saw that coming, but I always forget. And Arizona things run differently. Damn.
Okay,
Hey,
click on to
don't be driving without no license
now,
out in
before you go
Arizona.
here.
Damn, what's up with this dude's hair?
all the way,
Is it a dude?
all the way.
What the what? What's up with the arms right there?
Hello, ma'am. Can I get your full
Oh,
name?
excuse me, ma'am.
Valerie
My apologies. Damn, life is rough. My
All right,
apologies.
ma'am. We are seeing you on a few different cases.
Is this the one from
evening.
yesterday,
It
the one that
looks
was
like you have
yawning?
A number of cases that are pending in Pima County Justice Court, and it looks like you also have a case out of Marana City Court where a warrant was
she's
issued.
going through it.
So, ma'am, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about your
Kids
release
don't
conditions in
do
all of these cases, and we're going to talk about your
drogas.
next court dates. All right?
Damn.
Okay.
So, ma'am, first off, I need to advise you that you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
She smoked
You
too much
also
ice
have the
cream.
right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. Now, what I'm going to do in your Marana case is I am going to appoint Janet Altschuler to represent you. And in your
Hey, look at the public defender.
Pima
She looks
County
all
Justice
disgusted.
Court cases, I'm
Oh, you
going
guys
to
can't see her.
appoint
Damn.
Joseph
Hold on.
Ezzo to represent you in all of those. You're going to get paperwork that has the contact information for both of these attorneys. They're also going to have information about your court dates and the
She's like, get her
locations
away
of the
from
courts.
me. Yuck.
So in your Marana matter, in that case, it looks like you were charged with possession of drug paraphernalia,
see
but
her.
there's also a charge of shoplifting. Now, ma'am, what I'm going to do in that case is
She's doing
I
the
am
little
going
dinosaur
to
hands.
order that you be held on a $250 cash bond. Your next court date is going to be tomorrow, January 8th at noon, and the jail will take care of making sure you make it to court if you are still in custody. Now, in that Marana case, your conditions of release are going to include that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that you not have any contact with any alleged victims, and you not return to the incident locations.
Wait, what? Can you repeat that again, please?
Okay.
Hey, as soon as she leaves, she's gonna spray that whole thing with Lysol. I know it for sure. She has some Lysol wipes, some
Whoever's
spray.
on the line with an open phone, could you please mute yourself by pressing *6?
Hell no.
Yes,
Hell
ma'am.
no. I ain't gonna do that.
Like that?
Hell nah. I ain't
All
turning
right,
off.
ma'am. So that is your Marana case. Now, in your justice court cases, it looks like warrants were issued. These cases go back to 2019. There's
Damn,
some
putting in
cases
that work.
from 2020 and also a case from 2022.
I'll be using Lysol too.
Charges in these various cases include allegations of criminal damage, refusal to provide truthful name, misdemeanor assault, criminal littering, possession of drug paraphernalia,
I wonder if she stinks.
disorderly conduct, shoplifting, and failures to appear. In all of those justice court cases, like I mentioned, you are going to be represented by Joseph Ezzo. I'm going to give you a court date of tomorrow as well in those cases, so that'll be January the 8th, but it'll be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's
all
her
of
from
these
yesterday.
cases,
That's
I'm gonna
her.
order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond in each case. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You are not to have any contact with any alleged victims, not return to their residences or workplaces, and you are not to return to any of the incident locations. Now, ma'am, if you bond out of custody, you need to make sure that you make these court dates, because if you don't, another warrant's going to issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, ma'am, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Hey, she ain't coming down, man. She's like, that's permanent right there. She's straight
sorry,
to the
1 second.
moon.
It looks like there's a city court case as well, ma'am.
Hey, look, in the PD right there, she's just right there. She's like, man, I can't wait for her to leave, man.
I did not see the city
I need
court
to burn
file.
that chair.
So you also
need to burn the
have
handcuffs.
4 city court matters. And in those cases, they involve allegations of criminal damage, disorderly conduct, theft or shoplifting, but there's also some
Tina,
failure
welcome.
to appear charges, and it looks like there may be an outstanding probation revocation. So, ma'am, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do your initial on the probation revocation matter and also do an arraignment for any charges that you have not already been arraigned on. So in your petition to revoke, the document I have in front of me indicates that you were placed on probation back on November 14th of 2023 for those offenses that I mentioned before.
I call that the creep keeper from Tales from the Crypt.
The allegations in the petition to revoke are that you failed to abide by the law and you failed to attend review hearings as required by the court.
She's probably jumping on TikTok right now. She's on her phone.
As I mentioned, the right to remain silent.
The public pretender.
You do have the right to an attorney, and I am going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you.
Thanks.
Thanks. How did I end up here? That's what the public pretender is like. Where did I go wrong in my life?
So, ma'am, what I'm going to do is I'm
this?
going to give you a court date with Judge Blue over at Tucson City Court. And that court date is going to be February the 4th, 2025 at 10 o'clock in the morning.
She looks like an ankle biter.
As conditions of your release, I'm going to order that you be held on a $250 cash or secured bond.
Let me tell you something.
You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs.
Man, she's showing nothing but teeth. I think she only has like one tooth. She's like a snaggle tooth.
Sorry about that. So I'm also going to give you a video review hearing on January the 16th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon.
I find it funny. Yeah.
So if you are out of custody, that's when you will come to court for the February 4th date. But if you are in custody, they will take care of making sure you make that court hearing on the 16th. As additional conditions, you are not to have any contact with any victims, not have any contact with any residences or workplaces
she went to
for those
eight years
victims,
of college for
and not
this?
return
Damn,
to any
David.
incident locations. Now, ma'am, if you're out of custody, you need to make sure you make those court dates for all those cases I mentioned, or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
All right, ma'am, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Hey, she's on a sick one. You know what? You guys couldn't really see her face because of the damn projector. But man, she was like, man, I would not leave any unattended ankles that are showing flesh around her, because you might end up with some bite marks, and that's no joke right there. Hey, David on YouTube just mentioned to me that.
Hi, ma'am. Just give me 1 second. I'm finishing up paperwork for the last individual.
Get her. You need to get her some psychiatric help or a psychiatric institution if you guys got any. But David on YouTube was telling me that public pretender right there, she had to go 8 years to college to be able to sit right there next to that individual. Man, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. You guys tell me. Let me see. Dorothy wrote okay.
All right, ma'am. Can I get your full name,
Giselle.
please?
Tiara Koshko McReynolds.
Yeah, 4-year degree and 3 to 4 years of law school. Damn. That
all right,
is
ma'am.
bananas.
We're seeing you for a couple of different cases.
Part of the job.
Oops.
Hey, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Also, shoot some hearts. Get us into the algorithm.
Pima County Justice Court.
Por favor, please, and por favor. Y gracias a ti. Somebody get her a brush, please.
Sorry, you have one case out of Pima County Justice Court, and then you have another case where a warrant was issued out of Ajo Court. That's also a misdemeanor.
Getting good
So what we're
money.
going to do is we're going to talk about your release conditions in both cases and your next court dates. So starting with the Pima County court matter, in that case, you have been charged with driving under the influence. That is a misdemeanor count.
DUI.
You do have a
Arizona.
right to an attorney, and I'm going to appoint Jill Gukin to represent you. You'll get paperwork
you for
that
the
has her
hearts.
contact information on it.
109. That's what's up. Let's go ahead and do one of these right here.
Now, in this matter, the information I have
60,000. Oh, hell no.
indicates that the judges who are hearing both of your cases want you to be held on a bond. I am going to that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond in this matter. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not to drive without a valid license. So this Justice Court DUI case, you're going to have a hearing tomorrow, January the 8th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're still in custody, the jail will make sure you get you get brought to that hearing. It should be a video. It may be a video hearing. They may take you to Justice Court, but either way, they will make sure you get there. If you are out of custody, you need to make sure you make that court date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Now, in your Ajo matter, in that case, I'm also going to appoint Jill Gukin to represent you, so you have the same attorney for both cases. In that case, I'm going to hold you on a $200 cash or secured bond. Alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons. And it looks like the charges in that case specifically involved the allegations of domestic violence, disorderly conduct. Your next court date is going to be January the 14th. 2025 at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that will be at Ajo Justice Court. And you'll get the address for that court with your paperwork. Now, if you are out of custody, you need to make sure you make that court date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
All right. So this one, she had she had a DUI out of this county, and then she had a domestic violence out of Ajo County. I don't know how far that is. Next, what do you think this next individual is in for?
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Reyes Zamora.
Reyes
All right,
Zamora.
sir. So we're seeing you this evening on some new misdemeanor charges. One second here.
Anybody? Any guesses here? Anybody?
I think I may have given you the wrong file.
So the public pretender, David was telling me that they make between $60,000 to $70,000 a year. So imagine going to school for 8 years for that amount of money. I'd rather not. Let me see. What's the name right there? I can't see it. A10, domestic. You're lagging. Oh, that's no bueno, Amber. Let me see. Somebody put domestic violence. What state? So this is Arizona, just in case. Controlled substances. Let me see. You can work at the post office and make more, right? That's what I'm saying. You could scoop some poop and probably make more.
All right,
You're
sir.
good?
So we're seeing you this evening because it looks like
I work at a Costco and make that. I once turned on a job
whoever's
at
talking
Costco,
in the background. I just
but I
need
wanted
you
to work there.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you. Whoever's talking in the background on the phone, just make sure to keep yourself muted unless you are speaking, so that
I'ma
everybody
talk when I
can
wanna
hear
talk.
each other.
And
So,
what?
sir, we're seeing you this evening on some new misdemeanor charges
Cha-cha.
involving
That's
allegations
it.
of
Yikes.
possession of drug paraphernalia,
Really depends on the
domestic
experience
violence,
some more.
disorderly conduct, and criminal trespass in the third degree. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against
Thank
you.
you for the follow.
You also have the right to an attorney, though not
What time is it out
necessarily
there?
at court expense. Now, I
It's,
do remember seeing
8:05.
you not too long ago back on the 2nd for a different case. And when we
priors.
had that last hearing, I appointed Janet Altschuler. So I'm going to appoint Janet Altschuler on this case as well. So you just have the one attorney. Now, the information I have is that we may have the alleged victim on the line. Ma'am, can I get your name?
You guys got the victim on the line? Can you repeat that? We couldn't hear you. Can you
Ma'am,
take
are
it
you
off mute?
still on the line?
What? We can't hear you. You sound like you're underwater. I work at Costco on Edison, New Jersey. I gave out the samples. Hell yeah, man. Everybody loves the sample lady at Costco. Sign me up. Especially when it's like little pizza or like these little rolls. Shoot it. Ice cream, cake, whatever. Shoot it.
She's not on the line. So we
Nope.
did have a victim who was present on the line earlier, so we'll give her a little bit
100
just in
and- I'll
case she
take the
got
100.
cut off to call back in. In the meantime, sir, we're going to be talking about your next court dates and everything.
Next
Now,
court date. All right.
based on the information I have, I looked at the pretrial services report. I have reviewed your history and the probable cause statement for this offense. I do have concerns because I just saw you maybe a week ago, not even, and the information I have is that you're also currently on probation with the Paso Tribal Court. So, sir, my inclination is to hold you on a bond, and I'm going to hold you on $1,000 cash or secured bond.
Shh. I'll go
If you
find that on
post
my
that
couch.
bond and if you're released from custody, you are not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not to commit any acts of domestic violence, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons.
Illinois has
At
no
this
cash
time, sir, I'm
balance.
also going to order that you not have any contact with the alleged victim in this case,
Okay.
and you're not to return to the incident location. I believe that those may be the same conditions that I ordered before, so I can't stress enough how much I mean you cannot have contact with the victims, you cannot go to that location. Do you understand that, sir?
I understand. The thing is that it's my mom, and so we have issues sometimes.
What?
No, I understand that we
that's
can
out
have
the
issues
window.
with
You're
other
beating your
individuals,
mom?
sir, but I do not want you to talk about your case right now. And the reason I'm ordering no contact is so that you don't wind up right back here on another case.
That's all bad right there. Come on,
So,
man.
sir,
like-
your next court date is going to be tomorrow, January the 8th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be at Pima County Justice Court with Judge Steele. If you are still in custody, the jail will take care of making sure you make that court date. However, if you bond out of custody, then you need to make sure you go to court or a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Maybe.
Yes.
All right, and I don't see that the victim is called back in. So, sir, for tonight, you're done for now, and your next court date is tomorrow.
Okay.
That's all. You're excused.
Anthony G wrote, Illinois has no cash bond. So does that mean
Garcia.
that they'll let you out on bond just like that without having to put any money down? I'm not familiar with the term. What did she get locked up for?
Hello, ma'am. Can I get your name?
Tonya Garcia.
Tanya. No bueno. All right, thank you for clarification.
All right,
on that.
ma'am. We're seeing you this evening on some new misdemeanor charges out of Tucson City Court involving a few different domestic violence offenses,
Damn, a few.
including allegations of endangerment, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. So, ma'am, you do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily
Toxica.
at court expense. We're going to do your arraignment, and we're going to talk about your next court date and your release conditions. So in addition to those other rights I mentioned, you have a right
Hey,
to be
welcome back,
present at any and all
Xavier.
court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest,
Doña.
and those hearings can happen without you. You do have the right to have a trial and to have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't need to do anything. However, if you'd like to
Thank you
call
for the
witnesses
follow.
on your own behalf, you can use court subpoena power to get those folks to come to court for you. Now, if you are
hello.
convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing and 90 days go by since the time of conviction, then you lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, ma'am, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf to all these charges.
Gracias.
Based on the information I have in the pretrial services report, ma'am, my inclination is to release you.
David.
However, I'm not going to allow you to have any contact with the victims in this matter, and you are not to return to their residence. Do you have another place where you can stay?
David straight maniaco.
I see that you're nodding, but since we're recording everything, I need to hear it.
Oh, yes.
All right. So I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Your next court date is going to be February the 4th, 2025, and that will be at 1:30 in the afternoon. That will be with Judge Million over at Tucson City Court. As conditions of your release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence. As I mentioned, you're not to have any contact whatsoever with the alleged victims. You are not to go to their residences either.
Damn, how many victims does she have?
Now, the other thing
How
I'm
many
going to order
relationships?
that you get done within the next 45 days is a behavioral health assessment, just so that the judge and the folks over at City Court have a little bit more information.
Okay.
Now, ma'am, do you have any belongings at the victim's residence that you may need to grab? Okay. So
Nah.
I'm not going to check that order.
You know what? I did one video visit when one of my buddies
All right,
was up in
ma'am. So
Pelican
that's
Bay,
all for
but I never
this
put it
evening.
up.
Make sure you make that February 4th court date or warrants will issue for your arrest. You're excused.
Late.
Thank you.
All right. So I see we got 94 people in here. If you guys don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it's free 99. Also, sharing is caring. Shoot it
Hello,
to somebody.
can I get your name?
Lisa Munoz.
Lisa, what do you guys think Lisa Munoz did? She found their stream.
All right, ma'am. We're seeing you this evening on some new charges out of Tucson City Court involving allegations of misdemeanor assault. It's alleged to be a domestic violence offense.
Domestic,
we're going
another
to
domestic violence.
talk about your release conditions. We're going to talk about your next court date, and we're also going to do your arraignment this evening.
You guys better
so,
be
ma'am,
careful
you do
out
have
there
the
in,
right to remain
Tucson.
silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You have the right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, those hearings can happen without you, and a warrant will issue for your arrest. Now, you do have the right to have a trial and to have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't need to do anything. However, if you'd like to call witnesses on your own behalf, you can use the court's subpoena power to get those folks to come to court for you. Now, finally, if you are convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing, then you run the risk of losing your right to a direct appeal if 90 days have gone by.
Dang, ladies, violence is not our answer. Violence is the only answer.
Checking one thing in the pretrial services report. Give me one moment.
No, that's a trip. You know what? Like, it's either, I think there's a lot of, there's a lot of shoplifting. There's a lot of DVs. There's a lot of people that are burnt, smoked their brains out. It's crazy out there. Proceed with caution. Anybody in Tucson? You guys are in Tinder and Plenty of Fish and Grindr or whatever apps you're using. Proceed with prejudice, a lot of prejudice, and also do a background check because chances are you might get hit upside the head with a chancla.
All right, ma'am. So my inclination is to release you on your promise to appear. If I do that, will you make a court date in early February?
This is a state.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So based on the information that I have in the pretrial services report, the victim in this matter, Fabian Inzuza, has indicated that he does not want to have any contact right now, and he does not want you to come back to the residence.
Dang.
Now, it sounds like that's a residence that you both have shared for some time. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, ma'am. So what I will do as a condition of your release is I will mark a box that will allow you to take my order to law enforcement so you can return to the residence one time with law enforcement as an escort to gather some belongings. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Your next court date is going to be that February 4th, 2025 court date, and it will be at 1:30 in the afternoon in front of Judge Million at Tucson City Court. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You are not to commit any acts of domestic violence. You are not to possess any firearms or weapons. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf to the listed charges. And as I mentioned before, right now you are not to have any contact with Mr. Inzunza or the residents.
Yep. Hey, thank you,
Now,
Austin.
ma'am, if you don't make that court date on February the 4th, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right. That's all for this evening, ma'am. You're excused.
Hey, David on YouTube, but yeah, with a name like Fabian, no wonder he got his ass kicked by the Toxica. Hey, so I think it was Mikey that asked me. I've only done juvenile hall time, camp time, in county time. I've never been
Hello,
to
give
prison.
me 1 second. I'm trying to just log back into one of our systems.
What does the black shirt mean? Everybody else has been in with white shirt. Does anybody know? Has anybody ever been to Tucson County Jail? If you guys wouldn't mind sharing what the black shirt means.
Can I get your full name, please?
Yeah, it's John Tatchful.
Firearm, Dax. All right, let's see. Anybody else? Anybody else? He's a trustee. Okay. Hey, thank you. Thank you for that.
So we are seeing you this
Sharon, I think it
evening
is.
on some new misdemeanor charges out of Tucson City Court involving allegations of criminal damage, domestic violence.
Oh.
Now, sir, we're going to
Another
talk
one.
about your release conditions and
Another
your
one.
next court date. And we're also going to do your arraignment this evening. So, sir, you have a number of rights. First, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say
the
can and will be used
size.
against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You have the right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then
I
those
like
hearings
your
can happen without you, and a warrant will issue for your arrest.
Aura.
You do have
Gracias.
the right to have a trial and to have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't need to do anything. However,
County
if you'd
girl
like
or
to call
count-
witnesses
county-
on your own
country
behalf,
girl,
you
thank
can
you
use
for
the
the
court
like.
subpoena power to get those folks to court for you. Now, if you are convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing and 90 days have gone by since your time of conviction, then you will lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, sir, I've looked at your pretrial services report.
He ain't
My
going nowhere.
inclination is to release you on your promise to appear. If I do that, will you make a court date in early February?
Don't do it, Judge. Don't do
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
The-
All right,
hey,
a court date of February the
She's
4th
tired.
at 1:30 in the afternoon. That will be at Tucson City Court with Judge Million. I am going to release you on your promise to appear, but there's going to be a number of conditions.
Oh,
You
snap.
cannot possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You are not to commit any acts of domestic violence, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. The information I have, based on the pretrial services report,
Mm-hmm.
is that pretrial services was not able to get in contact with the alleged victim in this manner, Miss Anna Ritchie. So what I'm going to order at this time, since I don't have any information, is that you have no contact with her. That's something that can be revisited at a future court date. So I'm going to order that you not have any contact with Miss Ritchie or her residence or workplace. Do you share a residence with her?
Yeah, she lives in my house.
In
All
your,
right.
oh, she's gonna be living.
So,
she's gonna be living in your house.
I'm going
You're
to
gonna be.
check
You're
a
not gonna
box
be living there.
that you may return one time to retrieve any belongings, but wherever she lives, you cannot have contact with that residence
That's
otherwise.
scandalous.
So once again, you need to make sure that you
Toma.
make that court date on February the 4th. If you don't make that court date, a warrant will issue. Do you understand?
Understood.
All right, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Late.
Thank you.
Williams.
Damn. Hey, so if anybody's been noticing the public pretender, she's been sleepy. She's sleepy than a mug.
Hello,
She
can I
stayed
get
up
your
late last
name?
night.
My name's Jackson Wayne Williams.
And Your Honor, Jacob Wilson appearing on behalf of Jackson Williams.
What do you guys think this guy did? Why is she
for
smiling?
that.
All of a sudden, she's smiling.
All right, sir. All right. Somebody has a Oh,
Hey.
no
Hey.
worries. I'm going to ask if you can on your phone, just hit *6. That will mute you, and then you can hit it again when you're ready to speak.
Hey, Judge, I'm not muting anything.
All right, sir. So we're seeing you this evening on some misdemeanor charges involving allegations of domestic violence assault and domestic violence disorderly conduct. Now, sir, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about your release
you for the
conditions, your
follow.
next court dates, and we are also going to do your arraignment. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. Now, initially, I was going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you, but it sounds like you do have counsel. And counsel, I apologize. Can I get your name again?
Yes, I'm sorry. It's Jacob Wilson.
Okay. Jacob Wilson sounds legit, but we're about to find out. Can he get him out? Or can he get him out with no bond, no cash bond? Let's see. Let's see what he's made out of. Let's see if he could get OR'd. An OR means
All right, sir. So I'm just
recognized.
making a note on the court paperwork that Mr. Wilson has filed a notice of appearance. So I'm making sure that that information is in there.
John with sword
Now,
said he's in
you
for
also
fraud.
have the right to be
Let's
present
see.
at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can happen without you. Now, you do have the right to have a trial and to have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't need to do anything. However, if you'd like to call witnesses on your own behalf, you can use the court's subpoena power to get those folks to court for you. Now, in the event that you are convicted, if you fail to appear at sentencing and 90 days have gone by since the time of conviction, then you will lose your right to a direct appeal. What I'm going to do this evening, sir, is I'm going to enter not guilties to all of the charges on your behalf.
Okay, not guilty. Okay.
And Mr. Wilson, did you wish to be heard at all with regards to conditions of release?
Tita, thank you for the like.
I did. Just we would be requesting release on recognizance. Standards for contact with the victims.
What, can you repeat again? Couldn't make out anything you said. David wrote, if the PD sees this stream, I'm currently single and semi-successful.
All right,
That's
sir,
right.
I am going to release you on your promise to
Oh,
appear.
that's what's up.
Your
what do you do?
next court date is going to be February the 4th, 2025, and that will be at 1:30 in the afternoon over at Tucson City Court.
Okay.
And that will be with Judge Millian specifically. Now, as conditions of release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You are not to possess any firearms or weapons. You are not to commit any acts of domestic violence. I'm going to order at this time that you not have any contact whatsoever with
Thank you for
Brianna
the follow,
Rodriguez.
Felicia.
You are also not to have any contact with her residence or her workplace. Do you understand, sir?
Tita, thank you for the like.
Yes, ma'am.
Joseph, thank you for the like. User, thank you for the like.
All right, sir. So you need to make
Tita,
sure
thank
you
you for the
make
like.
that February 4th court date, because if you don't, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yup.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for this evening. You're excused, and thank you, counsel, for calling in.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. We'll get in touch. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any more?
Oh no.
Is it over? Normally these run about an hour, an hour 20 minutes. Oh, we got next contestant up. And what did this gentleman do? What do you guys think this guy did?
Hello,
They didn't say
can I
what the
get
other
your full
the other
name?
guy did.
Jesus Cano.
Spanish speaker.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this evening. It looks like on some fairly new felony charges.
Felonías. No,
where
bueno.
a warrant was issued back in December of 2024.
Okay,
The specific
last month.
charges involve allegations of kidnapping, aggravated assolt with a deadly weapon or
What
dangerous
the what?
instrument, aggravated assault by strangulation, and preventing the use of a phone in an emergency.
Oh, this guy, he's
Now, sir, you
going
do
up the
have the
creek.
right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. You have counsel seated beside you in case you need any assistance during this evening's hearing. We're going to talk about release conditions and your
Release.
next court date. So I have read the arrest warrant, the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation. I see that the state is recommending a $25,000 bond, which is the amount listed in the warrant. State, did you have anything you wish to add?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
So this is a grand jury warrant. As the court's probably aware, these typically need to be sought, whether it's based on custody status or, in this instance, whereabouts unknown. As it relates to the ag assault, I believe some of the other offenses listed are self-explanatory, such as the strangulation.
What?
Sounds
crazy.
In that offense, but the ag assault, deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, essentially it was a very violent attack on the victim where he smashed her head with work boots. And then, of course, the strangulation, lethality, behind that. So the state has some serious concerns based on
serious concerns.
The charges, and it looks like he does have somewhat of a DV history, as well as having a NBCA flag as well,
amigo.
Judge.
Peace out. Gracias for
Defense
stopping
counsel,
by.
did you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, I would ask that you release Mr. Cano to pretrial service supervision. Pretrial services did score him at a 1. He's a 2 on the NCA scale, a 3 on the FTA scale. He has no prior felony arrest of any kind. I understand he does have prior domestic violence arrests, but it appears that those are from 2009 and 2010. And it does appear that he was able to successfully complete probation at that time. Given that these incidents occurred almost now 2 months ago, and Mr. Cano was not given an opportunity to appear out of custody at an arraignment, we would ask that you release him to pretrial services supervision.
All right, sir, I'm going to order that you be held on a $10,000 cash or secured bond. You will be
10,000?
supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and
He
you'll
has
need
priors.
to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You are not to possess any or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, and possess no
Oh, that's right.
firearms
She
or
changed her mind
weapons.
yesterday.
Most importantly, you are to have no contact with the victim in this matter, Ms. Rosalina Mendoza. You're not to have any contact with her residence or her workplace. Your next court date is going to be an arraignment hearing on January the 14th
Yeah,
at
1K.
1:30 in the afternoon at Pima County Superior Court. Now, sir, if you bond out of custody, you need to make sure you make that court date, because if you don't, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
See.
Yes, yes.
All right, that's all for this evening, sir. You're excused.
Peace out. Hey, you're absolutely right. The guy that put she's Judge Flipper. She'll change her mind. Yeah, yesterday she was helping out that one dude, and all of a sudden she changed her mind and she decided not to help him anymore.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Matthew Jordan Hart Valeri.
What do you guys think
All right,
Matthew
sir, we're
did?
seeing you on a couple of different matters this evening. It looks like
I
you
called her
have some new
Gemini
felony
yesterday.
charges involving allegations of theft of means of transportation.
Theft.
And you also have a city court matter, which we'll get to in a minute. Now, starting in both cases, we're going to talk about your release conditions, your next court date, and your city court matter. We're also going to take care of your arraignment. But starting with the felony matter, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you.
Okay. Wow.
Now,
Why are
reviewing
you trying
all
to
of the
steal a
information
car?
I was given, I see that the state is recommending pretrial services. My inclination is to follow that recommendation. Did either counsel wish to be heard any further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
So, sir, I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. Your next court date will be a preliminary hearing on January the 27th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. You need to make sure you stay in touch with pretrial services and with your attorney, because if you don't make that hearing, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Now, as conditions of your release, you will need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions that pretrial services gives you. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons. And you're to have no contact with the alleged victim, their residence, or workplace.
All right.
Now, in your city court matter,
What happened?
in that case, it looks like you have a failure to appear charge, and there's also an alleged violation of, it's listed as obedience to a police officer, but the statutory citation is 28-622A. It's a second-degree misdemeanor. And it looks like a warrant was issued for you back on June 13th of 2024. It looks like you may also have a new failure to appear charge. So, sir, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the arraignment for the failure to appear charge, as well as any other charges that you may not have been arraigned on. So in addition to those rights that I mentioned before, you also have the right to be present at all court proceedings. However, if you don't come to court, those hearings will go forward without you, and a warrant will issue for your arrest. You do have the right to have a trial and to have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't need to do anything. However, if you'd like to call witnesses, you can use support subpoena power to get those folks to court for you. Now, if you are convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing and 90 days have gone by since your time of conviction, then you will lose your right to a direct appeal. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf for any new charges. And on this case as well, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Your next court date in your city court matter is going to be February the 5th, 2025 at 2:30 in the afternoon. That will be with Judge Cranshaw over at Tucson City Court. As conditions of your release,
Yep. Conditions to release what? WTF? No way. Hey, you know what? She hasn't signed the papers yet, so she'll flip flop. She might change her mind.
I'm not going to order any additional conditions on this case based on the nature of the charges I see. Your only condition is make sure you make it to court on time, all right?
Absolutely.
All right. So that's all for this evening, sir, but make sure you make that court date on February 5th in that case and your court date at the end of January in your felony case. Do you understand?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor.
You're excused.
Damn, he got off easy. He definitely got some love.
Outside. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, let's see this upstanding citizen right here, Clark Kent, looking. What do you guys think this
Hello,
guy's in
can I
for?
get your name?
David Joshua Recam.
All
right, so we're seeing you on a couple different matters. It looks like you've got a case out of Tucson City Court. Involving a misdemeanor charge of obstruction or refusal along with a failure to appear charge. In that case, we're going to go ahead and do your arraignment and talk about release conditions and your next court date. However, we're going to start with your new felony charges. And in that case, you've been charged with aggravated driving under the influence.
Damn,
now, in this
DUI.
matter, sir, you do have the right to remain. A cannon will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. They are seated beside you and can help you if you have any questions this evening. Now, I have looked at the pretrial services workup, the interim complaint, and I see that the state is recommending a $10,000 bond with pretrial services. State, did you have anything you wish to add to your recommendation? You may be muted again, Mr. Goodman.
Probably. He's going to start complaining about these computers.
Faint, but you're there.
Your Honor, he's got the 4 prior DUIs noted in the report. And in this case, luckily, it was a single vehicle collision and that nobody else appears to have been involved in that.
Defense counsel, did you wish to be heard?
4. This is going to be
Yes,
a
Your Honor,
fifth
would
one.
ask that you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release. It does appear that his last DUI arrest, or the last incident date, was in 2017. And it does appear that he was able to successfully complete probation in at least 3 of those 4 cases. I think for one of those, information is not available. Additionally, pretrial services would be able to require that he breathalyze or do blood or alcohol testing very regularly. Given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial services. Alternatively, ask him to impose a lower bond.
I wouldn't trust that guy to drive a remote control car.
All
That fool's a
right, sir,
straight
so
borracho,
looking
like
at
David
the
said.
pretrial services report, it does look like your last offense date was back in 2017, but it also looks like you only recently completed your sentences in those misdemeanor matters. So, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $10,000 cash or secured bond in this case. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and you'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs and not drive without a valid license, and you're not to possess any
Xavier.
firearms or weapons.
Ain't
Your
no
next
Mad
court
Dog
date in this
2020
case is
party
going
for
to
him
be a
today,
preliminary
right?
hearing on January the 17th at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody, you need to make that court date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. And in your city court matter,
1 DUI? Okay. But 5?
in addition to the rights that I mentioned before, you also have a right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, much like with the other court, a warrant will issue for your arrest. You also have the right to have a trial and have the prosecution prove their case against you. You don't have to do anything, but if you'd like to call witnesses, you can use the court's subpoena power to get those folks to come to court for you. And if you are convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing, then and 90 days go by, then you will lose your right to a direct appeal. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf for any new charges.
Not guilty. What do you mean not guilty?
And in this case, I am going to release you on your promise to appear.
What?
But I'm going to set a non-transport review hearing on February the 28th, 2025 at 9 o'clock in the morning. And that will be with Judge Klotz over at Tucson City Court. If you bond out of custody between now and then, you need to make sure you are at City Court on that February the 28th date for that hearing at 9 o'clock in the morning. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, that's all for this evening. You're excused.
Thank you.
Hey, somebody wrote on here, my brother-in-law had 3 DUIs and he had to do 8 months.
Williams.
Man, that's crazy too. Even, you know. All right, next.
He's
what do you guys think?
for him out separate.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Kevin Leon Gerard Williams.
All right, sir. Let me just make sure I have my correct file here.
Sorry, Your Honor, Stan's Michael Stan, he's a status, so we have to bring him out separate.
All right, understood. Thank you for the info. All right, Mr. Williams, so we are seeing you this evening on a case involving felony charges of theft of means of transportation, and it looks like a warrant was issued back on October 29th of 2024. We're going to talk about your release conditions and your next court date. So you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to appoint Christopher Salepi to represent you. You'll get paperwork that has his contact information on it. Now, sir, I've looked at the pretrial services workup. I've also looked at the information in the warrant, and I see that the state is asking for a $2,500 bond, which is the amount listed in the warrant. State, did you wish to be heard any further?
Are you able to hear me, Judge?
Yes, sir.
So in looking at the pretrial report, he was previously released, failed to make contact with pretrial. He told them he had a medical emergency and missed court, but as of December 26th, it looks like he had a new case in Maricopa County. So not only did he not contact pretrial, failed to appear, it looks like he has a new matter out of Maricopa County, as you'll see at the criminal history section of the report. So the state believes, based on the totality of that, the warrant amount of $2,500 is appropriate.
Defense counsel, did you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask that you give him another opportunity on pretrial services release. He did indicate that he had a medical emergency. This is a non-violent property offense. The new case that he picked up in Maricopa is personal drug possession, and it does appear that he's taken a plea in that case, and he's scheduled for sentencing on January 28th. He has no history of violent or weapons offenses. Given that, we would ask that you give him one more opportunity to appear out of custody on this case.
That we know of. Key word, that we know of. All right.
Sir,
David,
are you currently being supervised by pretrial services up in Maricopa?
I am going to be released with an ankle monitor back to my CBI shelter and will attend all required dates. I was homeless before and now am working on becoming a behavioral health tech. I live in a CBI shelter and am working to recidify my life, turn my life around.
Recidify, I like that word.
I have a job offer at CBI and I live in a CBI shelter because of my living situation before was chaotic, to say the least. I have now a job offer, a residence, a cell phone, a mentor, a sponsor, 45 days clean before coming to jail.
All right, sir, I will tell you that I was inclined to hold you on a bond because you had not contacted pretrial services before. Whatever happens, you need to call them. You can pick up the phone and you can call them if something prevents you from coming to court. Now, what I'm going to do in this case is I am going to release you to pretrial services, but you need to stay in contact with them and you need to stay in contact with your attorney. Now, as conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directives that pretrial services puts in place. You're also not to possess any firearms or weapons. Now, you are not to have any contact with any alleged victims, and you're not to have any contact with their residences or workplaces. Your next court date is going to be an arraignment hearing on January the 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. You need to make that court date. If you don't make that court date, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. And stay in touch with your attorney, Mr. Felipe, and stay in touch with pretrial services, because if that date gets shifted, you still need to make the new date. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for this evening, sir. You're excused.
Get out of my sight. Keep it moving. And today we had a good run today. A bunch of people caught cases on Tuesday or Monday. Next.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Oscar Zaragoza.
All right, sir. We're seeing you this evening on some new felony charges involving allegations of possession of a dangerous drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you.
Pima.
There's counsel
Pima County.
seated beside you if you need any assistance during this evening's hearing. Now, sir, we're going to talk about your release conditions and your next court date.
Figs Gaming. This dude's definitely drug charges.
You do have, if I did not mention it, you do have the right to remain silent. And the information I have based on everything that's been provided to me is that the state is recommending pretrial services release. It also looks like you may be eligible for a specialty court program known as STEPS or SMART, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. Counsel, my inclination is to follow the recommendation and to set a SMART court hearing and a preliminary hearing. Does either counsel wish to be heard?
I have no objection to that, Your Honor. We would waive time for the PH.
Thank you for that. All right, sir. So when I talk about that specialty court program, it's something that's run out of Pima County Superior Court. And the judge and her team basically work with individuals who have addiction issues to try to help them address that. Now, if you qualify for that program and if you complete it, that could have some sort of benefit to your case. We won't know that until you go to the first SMART court hearing. All right. So I'm going to set a hearing for January the 14th at 9 o'clock in the morning at Pima County Superior Court. You need to make sure you make that court date. It's super important.
Lion Lisa, thank you for the like. Highly.
Thank you, Ron.
Now, I'm also
that.
going to set a preliminary hearing on February the 21st, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'll note that time is waived. As of right now, you need to also make sure you make that hearing in February. It may change in the future, but it only changes if another judge tells you that it does. Do you understand?
It's not.
All right. As conditions of your release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, and you need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions that pretrial services gives you. You understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That's all for this evening. You're excused.
Thank you.
Next, Figs gave me right. Some of these people are wild. Hey, did you see that one? Did you see that one? That ankle biter?
You go, so sit down.
She looked like an ankle biter. I had said almost like yours. Did you?
Hello, sir. Can I get your full name?
Michael Joseph Stanton Jr.
All right, sir. You have a few different cases we're going to talk about tonight. You've got some new felony charges, which we'll start with, and then you have some cases out of Tucson City Court that we'll also talk about. So in the felony case, it looks like you were originally charged with the unlawful possession of a dangerous drug. Now, sir, you
Okay.
do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. The information I have from the state is that they're moving to dismiss this case without prejudice. State, is that still the situation?
The case, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for that. And defense, I'm assuming no objection?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, sir. So what I'm doing is I'm going to order that your felony charges be dismissed without prejudice. Now,
Thank you,
the
lovely
state has the
sunshine.
option to refile that in the future, but for right now, the case has gone away.
Okay.
So now we're going to talk about your city court matters. And in your city court cases, you have 4 pending cases.
Damn,
And it
4?
looks like
He's been busy.
they involve. It looks like they involve charges relating to criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, possession of drug paraphernalia, obstruction or refusal, as well as possession of, as well as failures to appear. And it looks like a warrant was issued.
Back in November?
Looks like it was back in October, actually, by Judge
Okay,
Luth.
because I was going to, what is it called, where you go to screening at Cope for that, because it was a drug court. And I was in touch with Regina Graham, my attorney, because I was taking care of the felony stuff. And she said, well, this will take care of contact with me. And I was staying in contact with her. So I did call her office and leave a message.
All right, sir, give me 1 second while I just fill some stuff out here. We're going to go ahead and do your arraignment for any charges.
Ah, it's buffering. How dare you? It's no bueno.
That you have not already been arraigned on, which may just be the failure to appear charges. Now, you do have that right to be silent, and that anything that you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you in all of these cases. Now, you do have the right to be present at any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings will go forward without you. You have the right to have a trial and have the prosecution prove any and all allegations against you. You don't need to do anything. However, if you'd like to call witnesses on your own behalf, you can use the court's subpoena power to get those folks to court for you. Finally, if you are convicted and if you fail to appear at the time of sentencing and 90 days go by since the time of conviction, you will lose your right to a direct appeal.
Sounds like they're having a party.
Now, sir, I'm going to enter not guilties on any charges that you have not already been arraigned on. And based on the number of cases that you have outstanding, as well as the age of the warrant, I am going to order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond. I'm going to give you a court date back in city court with Judge Blue. And that will be...
I have a job right now, Your Honor, and I just got hired for a tow truck company. I really can't afford to lose this job. I can appear. I can appear for my courts.
But you're going to be doing some other things too. Do you guys think they're going to let him out? I don't think so.
I understand that, sir, but this warrant has also been out since October. And that you said 1:45? Okay. So, sir, I'm going to give you a court date of January the 16th at 1:45 in the afternoon.
This is live. It is live.
And like I said, that will be with Judge Blue at Mental Health Court. If you are in custody, the jail will make sure that you get taken to that hearing. It may be a video review hearing like this. If you're out of custody, you need to make sure you get to Tucson City Court.
Tucson. I don't think he'll make it.
As conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any listed victims, not return to any listed incident locations.
Yeah, in Tucson they run court twice a day.
And as
7
I
o'clock in the
mentioned,
morning
if you
and
bond out of custody and if you fail to appear in court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. That's all for this evening. You're excused.
So I have a $500 bond.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you. I don't think you got 2 nickels to rub together or a pot to piss in.
Oh, you'll get to go. We're coming to jail.
So yeah,
I believe that's everyone on the docket. Thank you all for hanging in there.
All right.
Thank you, Ron.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
So for anybody that's wondering, they run these every day out of Pima County Court. They broadcast them live twice a day, 7 o'clock my time, which is Pacific Standard Time, or if you're in Arizona, then it would be an hour difference, so it would be 8 a.m. over there, and then obviously in the evening, which is the one we're doing right now, it starts at 6 o'clock my time. But as you can, for those of you that were here when it started, they started a little bit late. Let me see right here. Stephanie writes, they have to by law 60% interest. Laughing out loud. Public needs to know. Yeah, you know what? But there's not that many states that offer them, live. And I have found other states. Where can I find the link? Just go on YouTube, type in Pima County Court, or just type in, go to Google and type in live, live court hearings Arizona, and the court website will provide you with all the links. But the easiest way, Cali, Orange County. I have found like Colorado, and there's a few other states that do them live, but they have a thing on there that says that you can broadcast them or stream them. So that's the only reason that I don't do different courts. If not, then I would be doing like all over the place, all over the country. Texas, they do. Texas, there's a Judge Baxter County. I forget her name. She's a female. She does them in the mornings. Sometimes I've streamed some of her stuff in the past before. Let me see. Superior courts mostly do not have so much federal court. Yep. You know what? There's some federal courts that also do them audibly or audibly. Well, I don't even know what. I'm just making up words. But anyhow, you can hear the voices. But they say. Okay, I'm gonna cut it right now. Okay, so we could do it right now. All right, guys. Well, I gotta go. My daughter's here. She wants me to do some bracelets. So duty calls. Anyhow, we'll be back tomorrow. You are watching at CollectCallFrom, or you have a CollectCallFrom. What is it called on YouTube? Just type in live court hearings from Pima County, and it'll come up. You can't miss it. And then just look for this logo right here, the one you see right behind me from the court, and you'll see it. Like I said, it's every day at 7 a.m. or at 6 p.m. depending where you're at in the country. Anyhow, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys haven't done so, please, hit that subscribe button. Also, whenever you guys see us, jump on and hit them likes and share it. All right. And like I say around here, lights like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that,